What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now Plus. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about Avowed and what we saw today at the Developer Direct. Game looks awesome. That's the short of it. And honestly, I don't have too many specifics to go into. A lot of my trust of Avowed really comes from Obsidian. Now, I was never able to really get into the Outer Worlds. I actually bought that game. I remember playing it, and I played a few hours. I just never got into it, and I had it physically. Like, I actually bought it, I think, on Amazon, and I traded in. This was a few years ago. Now it's on Game Pass. I'm gonna give the Outer Worlds another look leading into Avowed, but Fallout New Vegas, that is why I trust them, and I believe the Outer Worlds is a good game. I just got to get into it. But New Vegas, that's my favorite Fallout game. I think it's an excellent game, and really, I mean, you could do any game. Obsidian can make any game, and I think I would generally be behind it. Avowed has always interested me. There's been the talk of it, right, where it's like, was this their Skyrim game? And word on the street is, yeah, kind of was. And they kind of pulled back, right? This could have been a full-scale, Skyrim experiment with them, and they kind of pulled it back, a little bit. But what I think we get instead is still a really good game, and what we saw the Developer Direct. So a couple things that stood out to me. Well, number one, combat. Look, none of these games, even from them or even Bethesda, they're not going to blow you away, right? It is more about the storytelling, the immersiveness. For Obsidian specifically, it's really about these choices and consequences and how the world kind of reacts. They do a really good job with that. But the combat in Avowed really stands out. Now, again, I don't think it's going to win any awards, but how many games can you dual wield wands? I mean, literally, like, it almost gives me Hogwarts Legacy vibes, and you're going around and you're shooting, two different spells out of your wands. Just the amount of things that they showed today, gameplay-wise, really cool. And much like you would expect from games like this, right? Very customizable. If you want to be almost like a gunslinger, right? Kind of like dual wield pistols, or like I said, kind of a mage-like thing, you have a lot of options in this game. And, that's what you would expect. It's just that we saw it today, right? And I think overall, combat looks pretty darn solid. They focused, again, a little bit more on that immersiveness and quests and how they kind of affect the world. They gave that one example where you could believe the guy's story or not, and depending on what you do, that's going to change when you go into like the settlement, right? The settlement's going to kind of behave differently based off that decision. So again, and that's why I didn't want to get too specific in this video, because it's really what from Obsidian, right? The strengths that they've shown us throughout the years. And we knew that could be an Avowed, it should be an Avowed, and then we finally got to see it. So everything in this game looks really good. And as I've said actually a few times, maybe controversially, I think this game can be better than Starfield. It's not to pit them against each other, because I just want good games. I don't really care who makes them, to be honest with you. I just want good games. But like, New Vegas is my favorite Fallout game. Starfield I liked, but I didn't love Starfield. I think this game can be the game that I think Starfield maybe was to some people, or maybe what people wanted it to be. I think Avowed can be. Now, it's going to be a lot smaller. I'm not talking about the scale of Starfield, but I think that quality and that really like moving the bar of quality of Xbox, that, and not to debate Starfield, but, people had that discussion with Starfield. I think you might be able to have it again with Avowed, and I think you might be able to make a better case that Avowed, would move the needle more. So I'm pumped. So the only disappointing thing, and it's not even that disappointing, is no date, right? So you get fall 2024, and the year is really coming into focus, right, for Xbox at this point. You got Hellblade's release date. We actually got Stalker's release date, so you got two of them. Avowed is that fall game. So probably, and I actually predicted this, around the same time as Stalker. Stalker, I think, is September 5th. I would not be surprised if both of these games, Stalker and Avowed, came out in September. Now, maybe Avowed does like October or something, right? But somewhere in that range, Avowed comes out. And then Indiana Jones, right? That game is probably a November game, maybe like right before a Black Friday. I do think Indiana Jones is, much like any game, with delays, I think Indiana Jones could still move. So Avowed might be just that literal fall game. It could be September, October, November, could be like any of that. So that, to me, that's the only weakness. I thought, hey, yeah, it's January, but, you're coming out 6-7 months away. You could probably give a date, and not yet. It's not going to happen yet. They did, I think towards the end of the Direct, though, they did talk about how they're going to show more, talk about it more in the coming months. So I wouldn't be shocked if like, social media wise, right? They start to be pretty active. And if there's an Xbox event, say in June, definitely I would expect to see it there, and then you would get probably a date right there, right? So I think it's going to be a big game. Hellblade's the go-to for me. I'm a big Hellblade guy, so Hellblade 2 is the one that stands out. But Avowed, Avowed might be the best game. I mean, Indiana Jones absolutely stands a chance. Hellblade absolutely stands a chance. They really, I guess, all stand a chance of being the best, Xbox game of the year. It's a very high quality level, I would say. So I think it's looking good. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.